Whew. Oh, Jesus. It's just. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. This is the Learn with John Eick podcast. It is day 123 on my 180-day drive to work and school and the place where I do what I do with the people that I do it with. It's a beautiful spring-ish day. It's February. No, it's March. It's March something. It's probably like March 3rd, 2nd, something like that. Anyway, that's not the point. So what am I riffing on? Gosh, yesterday I riffed on the amygdala, and I thought about it all day. And today, I was flicking through the Insta whatnots on the Reels. You guys know what that is? It's like little video Reels. And I saw somebody. It was funny, but it was offensive to me because I'm the person they're making fun of, and that's fine. Because you know what, if you can't take a joke, then don't get in the game, right? But it was like this. What was it? How did it go? It was something that said something effective like, here's me after spending a day in professional development with a person who hasn't been in the classroom in over a decade, and then the person was saying, thanks, I'm not going to use any of that, but thank you so much, you're so sweet. And it was like a movie. It was like a movie. Anyway, it was like a voiceover from a movie saying something out of context, but used in that context, it was kind of hilarious. Because look, I've been out of the classroom for so long, and sometimes I engage in PD, and I think I have no business, teaching teachers how to teach, because what the hell do I know? I haven't taught since forever. And so I love that. I mean, it's offensive because it's like, hey, it's a bit ageist, because you're like, hey, the old dude with the tie on, he can't teach you nothing about teaching. And I disagree. I mean, look, we can all learn from one another. We all have, observable functional expertise that can be transferred, in appropriate adult learning ways. But it was funny. And it spoke to, I think earlier this week, I talked about a colleague of mine who was like, hey, I don't ever want to leave the classroom and be a coach because then I would lack authenticity. So I get the premise. I do definitely get the premise. It was funny, and I love it. People are so creative and clever. How is the world so filled with funny and creative people? I think what you used to have to do is go to the bar on Friday night and hang out with your friends, and be like, man, you guys are so funny. I love hanging out with my friends. They're so clever. They're always coming up with clever things to talk about. They're funny. And now, maybe people still go to the bar on Friday night, but I'm old, and so I go to my daughter's softball game on Friday night. But now you go on the Instagrams and the TikToks, and you're like, man, people are so funny. You don't need to go to the bar. You can sit and scroll all night, which I guess everybody can have an opinion about that. Man, I'm halfway to work. I've not gotten to the topic that I was going to get to, and it was this I once gave a talk. I'm sure that somebody thought was irrelevant, but it was about networking, and it was about creating a network of abundance, which is based on some Steven Johnson stuff and some other stuff. And it was like, hey, give away your best stuff, man. Don't hide your best stuff. I got to an organization once, and everybody was producing their best stuff in PDFs with the front of with a name on the front, and they were yeah, you can use my worksheet that I developed. I also sell it on Teachers Pay Teachers, but I'll let you use it. It's in PDF format. And then teachers were using it, but it had the other teacher's name on it, and I'm like, that's stupid. Stop doing that. Don't give away your best stuff, people. Create an abundance, a network of abundance. Give away your best stuff. Give away your best ideas, because what will happen is someone will take your best idea and they will add their best idea to it and give it back to you as a better idea. So don't any of us think we have a complete idea, right? Give away your best stuff. And if you're selling on Teachers Pay Teachers, good on you, dude. Go sell it. But give it to your friend for free at school, or don't, and let them download it from the internet. But don't hoard your best stuff, especially if it's good for your colleague, your friend, somebody you would drink with on Friday night. But that's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is give away your best stuff. I got this nugget in my brain basket right now that I want to give away, and I hope you take it, steal it, make it better, and bring it back to me. And it's something we're working on to do at my organization next year. We're trying to we're trying to curate best practices. And I know some of us trigger on that term, best practices, but we're trying to curate really good tier 1 instructional practices within our organization. So I walk around a lot, and not as much as I should, but I walk around a lot and I see really good instruction everywhere I go. But you don't, Lena, whoever you are, if you're like, like if you're a teacher at my school, you don't get to walk around a lot and see best practices. And you're missing out, dude, because it's really juicy stuff. Well, then you're like, well, I could go walk around on my prep period and do it. Yeah, you could, but you got stuff to do in your prep period. So then we all have like professional development time, and we go, oh, hey, at professional development, we can teach each other these best practices. And you're like, yeah, you could. There ain't nothing like seeing it, though. You know what I mean? So how do you create? I got this thing in my brain basket around creating a like self-perpetuating professional development ecosystem that curates best practices, places those best practices in a place, that they can be accessed, but then that would be utilized so that we can like peer coach one another. So like the idea is like, hey, find a best practice that vertically aligns throughout an organization. We're a K-12 organization, and so we're like, hey, small flexible groupings is a best practice in our organization. Not pushing it on you. You and your folks don't need to use it, but we believe that like static work groups aren't as effective. If Johnny's always in the high group and Bobby's always in the low group, that's not really representative of what we consider to be a jagged profile. Now, Johnny might need to be in the high group for English language arts and for reading, this particular reading group, but Johnny might need to slip over to the lower group when he is struggling with a particular concept, and we just need to get him some re-instruction over here in the low group. So the grouping's got to be flexible. Okay, we think that is a K-12 usable practice. But honestly, I was a high school teacher. The high school side, it's not seen as much, but where we see it, I see it working well, and I'm like, oh my God, we should be sharing this. So okay, what would you do with that? Well, you would walk around and you would interview people. Hey dude, I hear you like use flexible groupings. How do you do that? Like functionally, pragmatically, not just like ideologically, but like pragmatically, how do you actually do that? And you go, oh, okay, you use this type of data. Okay, cool. And you walk and you ask somebody else, hey, do you do how do you do that? And so you're like, you're doing some action research. You're like, you gotta do a little lit review, you go out there and read what someone else has written about this, and then you go and ask, 12 really smart people who do it within your organization, within the context of your organization, and then you write a narrative, a document that says, hey, here at this school, we have this practice that seems to align K-12 because I let me tell you how it's done in kindergarten, 3rd grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, 12th grade, right? Okay, cool. Then you bust out a little camera and you do probably some like little video work, and you go cool. Then you engage, you build this all into like a learning module, like an asynchronous learning module. But like if you just did that, it would go into this asynchronous learning tank, and some people would use it, but not everybody would use it. And it just doesn't that isn't the best form of adult learning theory, in my opinion, because, to mirror what is appropriate learning theory, there has to be this opportunity to engage around the problem, and then this opportunity to create and produce something, blah, blah, blah. So you're like, an asynchronous module probably doesn't ring the bell. But now that you've built that module, you have this tool that can be leveraged for appropriate adult learning theory. And so then you're like, hey, we're going to launch, the opportunity for peer coaching and peer walking and utilize some professional development time that's a little more autonomous, that's not like sit and get. You're not like, hey, come to the library and listen to John, who hasn't taught in 1,000 years, tell us about small flexible groupings. That just isn't a great model. So that's why I giggled on the TikToks or the Insta whatnots when I saw that person say that, because yes, I can talk about small flexible groupings. I'm just not the guy though right? I can talk about it in theory, but it's just you want people with real authenticity to talk about these things. So now you've got this asynchronous module, and what do? Well, you put together authentic practitioners and have them utilize that tool to coach one another. Get me out of the room. I don't need to be in the room, right? And then establish opportunities to push in and into each other's classrooms and observe and coach, and you get these coaching models. And so we've hired a couple of, or we haven't hired, we've posted internally a couple of teacher on special assignment positions that are funded for a couple of years to build this self-perpetuating module, self-perpetuating professional development ecosystem with, several layers of like, not just the topics themselves. That's not really the important part, although I know that is the important part. At the end of the day, good morning, Mr. Rowe. At the end of the day, what's important is that we develop this ecosystem that allows for the inputs and the outputs to be authentically, produced by the staff who are currently on staff, right? So like, how would you compensate people to build an appropriate little module and then enter that module into this ecosystem? And then how would you appropriately compensate people to engage in that system and engage with one another? So there you go. Like, put your best stuff out there. This is an idea we're riffing on, we're funding, we're all kind of in on. I'm really trying to work hard to get me out of it and get the smart people into it, the practitioners, the actual folks who can make a difference into it, and I'll report back to how it goes over the next, how it's going. I think I'm excited about it, but maybe as you listen to it, you're like, hey, John, here's a +1 on that, or hey, here's a beware. We tried some of that. Hey, reach out to me. Let me know how that resonates with you, because we're both in the same industry. We're both trying to solve the same problems. What do you think of that right there? All right, thanks for listening. My name is John Eick. You can find me on Twitter at John_Eick. I'm at work. It's Friday. Hope you're having a brilliant Friday. I'll catch you next time.